And it is so much fun to see everyone dressed up. And we are so honored by your presence here tonight with us.
Thank you all for being here and honoring us with this party for our anniversary. And all the friends, it's great to see you in costume. Anybody who do that for us is really amazing. They would dress up. You know, everybody asks me why I do it. Well, you know, Ellen is.
Tells you to.
Happy anniversary.
Only in the free and independent, enchanted land of Vernonburg could a heart doctor zombie named Jeep launch fireworks over the Vernon River and not get arrested. All for the pleasure of his friends and to win a smile from his Princess Ellie.
Yay for beer!
It's very important to me to be close to water. Believe it or not, I'm a Nittany Lion. I'm a graduate of Penn State for graduate school, and I lived in the most beautiful mountain country. You know, it's Amish country for several years, and I just one day had to get back to the water. Used to drive home and we would roll down the windows when we got to a certain point and begin to smell the salt air. And I was home. It was beautiful.
Even as a shy and sensitive first grader, Ellen Bolch has been on a pilgrimage toward the blazing lights on the Vernon River.
I was a very frightened little girl. I remember that. And I would begin to cry on the bus and literally could not stop crying. My mother had to be called every day, I think.
A wise teacher drew Ellen close and orchestrated her election as president of her first grade class.
And I remember just sniffing those tears way back up, standing up and starting to lead my class. And I never cried another day.
When Ellen had a daughter who suffered from the same teary loneliness, she was able to pay her teacher's wisdom forward. When she dropped Meredith off for college at SMU, she left a book sitting on her bed in the dorm.
One of those lessons for a day, quotations that could help you through things. And she had opened the book to a specific page and put a little note on it saying, you know, I love you and I'll see you soon. And the quotation that I will never forget said, be brave. And if you're not brave, pretend to be brave. And the more you pretend to be brave, you'll find that you become that brave. And I've always carried that with me. We both just sort of walk in, take a deep breath, you know, look up and face the crowd.
In these last 3 weeks,
Today, with her leadership position in the community, Ellen doesn't have the luxury of shyness. So daily, she sniffs up those tears and takes the stage, making the best use of the gifts that are hers.
An intriguing study in contrast. She has the shy personality of an introvert, and yet she radiates all the attributes of a charismatic leader. She has to take deep breaths before approaching a podium, and yet she can walk into a room with such confidence, and with her engaging smile and her fashionable apparel, she just lights it up. She told me that fashion is her armor.
She is cool as a cucumber and lovely and gracious and the most stylish CEO I've ever seen. She can wear a tie or an Hermes scarf like you can't imagine.
Angels whisper in my ear, and I happen to listen.
Ellen became such a stylish leader through the pioneering success of her company, the THA Group, a home health care enterprise that grew out of her nursing studies at Penn State and her practice at Memorial Health.
I began to be able to make a difference, I hoped, in our very high infant mortality, morbidity rate by teaching all of these people everything that I had learned.
Memorial recognized the talent beginning to bloom and set her on an even larger task.
Ellen set up at Memorial Hospital something called Advanced Alternative. And Advanced Alternative really was getting people help at home and not having to be in the hospital.
Ellen had the idea, I would say, many years before it was written up widely, that there needed to be what we called a continuum of care. That it wasn't just that you admitted people to the hospital, you took care of their immediate need, you sent them home. You should literally follow their progress with social workers and case managers and determine what they needed when they got home.
At length, the hospital decided not to pursue the advanced alternative, and THA was born.
One day, I really kind of saw it. I saw that people really are in hospitals who don't need to be there. I have wanted to develop some model that kept that person in the center, with us surrounding the person with services rather than having our services or our companies be the focus and the patients or clients surrounding them. And I've wanted people to feel that it's a partnership, that we just want to offer them what we can to help them learn to take control of their health as much as possible, and to do it in the place where they want to be.
Most acute care hospitals were increasingly all about the financial side of the business, that she followed the patient home.
But Ellen wants to use technology to help monitor people at home. Technology that would be traditionally called telehealth or telemedicine. So she is applying technology to the home healthcare industry to make it more efficient, to create better outcomes, and at a lower cost.
I always competed.
You see, she's a middle child. That's the way she explains the determination that fueled her success. Her mom, a spry and lovely 93, says it was always so.
She's always pushed herself and always tried so hard to beat everybody else.
She is cheerfully relentless. You know, she is absolutely always optimistic. The glass isn't half full, it's almost full.
With success comes responsibility and leadership. Ellen is an often sought national authority on home health care, but more importantly, she's an always reliable contributor to the well-being of Savannah. She even put away her Penn State pride to chair the Georgia History Festival alongside Coach Vince Dooley.
We wanted to do a good job, which is characteristic of Ellen. So I think maybe the competitive juices came out in both of us.
You do not want to be behind her as a chair after she's been a chair of something.
Walk the shady lane that leads to the Bolch front door. You sense that a secret wardrobe has opened, so different is the world here. River breezes and puppies blow across the yard.
Let's see if they'll come.
Koi fish ruffle the water at an angel's feet. Sunlight is everywhere, and so too is the creative spirit of Ellen.
I just like what I like and don't pay that much attention to it. When Jeep and I put our families together, I saw this house and it was falling down. And I fell through the first couple of steps, and I got into this wonderful shotgun hall in this 1847 house, and I just knew what it could look like, and I knew that it was solid.
Solid and classic and gracious, just like Ellen.
When you meet Ellen, you meet the essence of effervescence. You meet a person with genuine and big creativity, and you meet a person who wants to help build her community.
She puts herself in the place of others, particularly people that are aging.
She really, really likes to buy me stuff.
Absolutely breathtakingly glamorous, but when it all comes down to it, she's still just Ellie from the block.
Mimi's sweet and gives us presents.
She always has something fun planned.
Good amount of food and usually a decent bar. No, always a decent bar. There's always a decent bar.
A fashionista, and she's always good to come to for advice.
She's a delight to be around. She lights up a room when she comes in.
I asked her, with all that she's accomplished, what she feels would be her legacy, and she did not hesitate. With great joyful pride, she said, "My family."
And now a sonnet for Ellie, in the voice of her zombie heart doctor, the other half of Ellie and Jeep.
When you are old and gray and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace and loved your beauty with love false or true? But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled and paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars.
Ellen Bolch is a laureate in the Junior Achievement Savannah Business Hall of Fame.
Thank you so very much. I did not trust myself. I'm not as brave as Dr. Andrews. So I would really like to just say a few things, but I took the time to write them down. Thornton Wilder told us we can only be said to be alive in those moments when our hearts are conscious of our treasures. Tonight, I've never been more alive, more conscious of the many treasures I most undeservedly have been given. These are not the treasures, as the Bible warns, that can be corrupted by moth or rust or stolen away by thieves. My treasures are of the heart, the spirit, the soul. What a privilege to have been born and raised in this uniquely quixotic and exquisitely beautiful treasure that is the city of Savannah. Raised by wonderful parents who were actually Savannah High School sweethearts. I left Savannah at 16, seeking education and opportunity, only to return home a dozen years later because I didn't want to raise the treasures who are my children anywhere else. This community has afforded me more support and opportunity than I ever dreamed possible. The business leaders of this big-hearted community welcomed my company 21 years ago and encouraged its mission. Hubert Humphrey reminded us of the saying that the true test of a society is how it treats those who are in the dawn of life, the children, those who are in the twilight of life, the elderly, and those who are in the shadows of life, the sick, the disabled, and the dying. The treasures in my life that are the nurses, the therapists, the aides, the social workers, the volunteers, all those team members of THA Group who support the ministrations of those people, and the physicians who ask us for help with their patients. They all pass society's test every day, as do the professionals and businesses who assist us in our efforts. It has been an amazing honor to work beside those who are bringing to life my vision of a new healthcare model. These fine people have put their faith in me, a woman who as a little girl just wanted to be a medical missionary. To all the little girls and young women that are the treasures that junior achievement helps, To value business and free enterprise, never doubt that you deserve every chance to pursue and realize your own dreams, whatever those dreams might be, just like all those deserving young men that Junior Achievement serves. Speaking of young men, and one man who is not quite so old, my husband, who is my treasure, believes completely in my efforts to serve our most vulnerable citizens and in my efforts to give back to the community. Never complaining about the lack of home-cooked meals. My children and grandchildren will far surpass anything I've ever accomplished, as will the children helped by Junior Achievement. The best is yet to come. I hope that my efforts in some small way will have helped pave their way, just as Jim Andrews and all the other deserving Junior Achievement Hall of Famers have done. I'm humbled, unbelievably, to be standing here and in this moment of being fully alive as my grateful heart holds all these treasures. I will leave you with a little William Butler Yeats. And think where one's glory most begins and ends, and say my glory was, I had such friends. Thank you.